next? What do you think people focus too little on or too much on?
Kind of going back to running, like as Will says, coming off the string training end, I think that a lot of people just don't know how to set up a workout, how to execute it properly, how to go into it, what to do, how to roll through it. I think it's really easy for us as coaches and people who ran competitively in programs that we didn't have to worry about these things. A lot of the runners who are coming to us are not coming from those same programs, and most of them haven't never even worked with a coach before. So I think that learning how to, hey, this is what I do when I walk out the door and execute a workout. This is exactly what I need to do, and I need to do it every time. And it's something that when I've worked with people in person, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that I've never taught them how to do a workout and how to approach it, whether mentally or physically. And my example of that is, so how does someone go from waking up, going out the door, doing a warm up, doing the workout, and then doing a cool down? So I'll let you guys kind of expand on that, and then I can give my take.
Well, 100% the first year I coached, like I noticed. I mean, you're like, it's like, yeah, it's something we know so innately that it's so difficult to explain. And I noticed how like different it was from how a regular athlete would do a workout versus us, which is like just wake up, shoes on, out the door, like you go warm up straight into the sets. You don't switch shoes, you don't use the bathroom, you don't take a gel, and you just do it, and then you go straight into the cool down back inside, you know. And so I actually wrote like a blog post, and it's very long, and I tried to go over all the like intricate secret little things that we might do or that we do every time we work out that regular people don't. Like almost every workout we've all ever done, we probably switch shoes, which isn't for everyone, but for some people, it makes a huge difference. Like practicing your competition and racing shoes, like choosing a location, thinking about bathrooms, thinking about how flat it is, and like matching that to our race. Are we doing Boston and we want a little waviness, or are we, you know, just looking for time and we want a flat loop course? Taking that moment in between. I've done a million workouts with you guys. I don't think we've ever gone from the warm up into the workout ever. You know, we're always going to take a minute. We're going to get water. We're going to all use the restroom. We might take a gel. Most of the time we'll switch shoes. The same thing on the cool down, like even like weird things, like when you give a fartlek, like the rest. Like there are some times where we'll start out walking and then we'll get into a jog, and like when might you do a walk jog? Like, you know, you'll start the first 20 seconds as a walk, or when is it important that, you know, this, oh no, part of it we want to keep our heart rate up, so we want to jog through the whole thing. Yeah, and so I wrote a long piece about all of the things I could think of that we might use that a regular person wouldn't.
On runbaldwin.com.
That's right.
All right.
And so yeah, I put that in my like my training plans and workouts now. So when my athletes are doing a workout, they can reread that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think that's like what the most fun part about coaching is that we like. I told you the other day, I told some guy that we had like secrets, and he was like, "No, there's no secrets." And I was like, "Yeah, but we kind of do. Like, we do stuff smarter and better than the average person because we've watched everyone else and we've done it 9,000 times. So we do have like some industry secrets, like, you know, or and then like, you know, where do the drills and strides come into to play in that gap between the warm up and the, like, we know stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the cool down pace, like, yeah, you're gonna have a pace, but it doesn't matter. No, we're out there slogging. We don't really, you know, we did the work. We don't care what pace the cool down is. All just some of those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
Eating beforehand. Nick, do you have any thoughts?
I think it's tricky because, when we would like meet to do a workout, like we're adding based on the things that we do during the workout, the stopping, the changing the shoes, the stretches, the strides, the bathroom, like we're adding 30 to 45 minutes to the total session there. And so I think for the vast majority of my athletes, and even the way I do workouts personally now, I just don't I don't want to take all that time, and they don't have maybe that time to give. So it's trying to find like not everyone's going to change their shoes. Not everyone's going to, go find a place to go to the bathroom. And like, I'm okay if they go, more or less right into the workout from the warm up. I would prefer if they stop for like 5 minutes. Hey, let's run through a quick dynamic stretching routine. Let's do some drills, more for just like, hey, the mental reset. Like we're going from running easy to running fast. So let's reset that out. And I think that's, one of the things like changing shoes does. I always feel like that's like that little mental trigger that we're going from
100%.
easy warm up time to business hard work time. And so how can we have that trigger without maybe the time that it would take to do all the other stuff that, we as runners would do in high school or college or beyond college. So I think it's a tricky setup. And I personally, I probably haven't been as good about it as I should have been, just like really explaining out this process to how it should work for everybody. It's kind of more like, hey, I want you to do the session and do the session well. Here are some things that you can do between your warm up and the start. And sometimes I'll put things in there to actually break it up physically, to go warm up. Then we're going to do a mile at marathon pace. Then we're going to stop for a few minutes, stretch, get some water. Then you're going to go into the main set. So some things that just kind of naturally break it up. But I really don't get too deep into the weeds because it's just hard for people sometimes to really take all that extra time. So
100%. And I don't require even for a lot of people you suggest that, but just knowing that like if you do have that time or space, or especially on a weekend, and there are times where like, we're going into a marathon, it's like, hey, we gotta put those shoes on before we take them for 26 miles, like kind of just going over, but explaining what we would do. And so like, here is, if we had all the time in the world, here's some things. And but like, yeah, it's not like we're doing a workout with Kia and we're asking these people to take an hour in between the warm up and the workout. But it's like, yeah, you might take 90 seconds and like pull your heel to your butt and loosen up your quad. Or if you have calf problems, you might do a little like calf flexibility, just kind of thinking about some of those things that can make your sessions better.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to show people what the ideal way to do it is, and then let them kind of take what they want from that. But I find that a lot of people, they just don't know. If they don't know, then they'll never do it, and they'll plug the workout into or they'll use the VDOT training workout that goes right into their Garmin, and they just go, and they'll never stop from beginning to end. And I just couldn't imagine ever doing that as a runner. Like I just couldn't go from my warm up straight into the workout, like without stopping. I mean, I always have to use the bathroom.
The biggest point is that same, got to use the bathroom, and like explaining to people, it's always one of the hardest things, but like that your feelings aren't always real. We talk about it nonstop. Every competitive runner will say, yeah, I had this warm up. I could barely jog whatever pace. I thought I was going to die. I switched my shoes and had the greatest workout of my life. So like I get all these
every
things
other
like,
workout.
I woke up and I feel so bad. And I'm like, okay, like, are you hurt? No, I just am tired. It's like, all right, like, well, let's go out there. Let's see what happens. Like it just, I put no stock into how I feel when I wake up to how I feel in the warm up. And there's been times where I got through 60% and then a light switch flipped and I'm like, and so it's like but that's a thing. Some people are like, well, I felt bad on the warm up, so I just kind of called it, just like explaining how we kind of know that intuitively that like the warm up will lie to you.
Oh yeah. How many times have you seen me go on a warm up and my eyes are rolling back in my head and like the workout's not going well, and then I just pull myself out of it and somehow I have a good workout? It's like that happens to everybody.
I've had so many up at like Mountain Shadows where I'm jogging in the woods back there and it's like, I'm just gonna get to the car and do some strides and go home. And let's try one set, and then it's like the greatest workout. And then that goes back to the mental thing. I'm like, okay, why were you freaking out on why are you freaking out on the warm up? And like, why are you listening to every little feeling that you think, it's like, but
it's procedural, right? It's procedural. If you do the same thing every single time, then it becomes automatic. And then that helps inform how your race goes, right? So it's all just about habit. And like Nick was saying earlier about doing the same thing that you do every single week. So like if you can set up that process to set up your workouts to go well, then you do that same process to hopefully help your races go well. So just so that anyone who listening, kind of wants to know exactly the procedure here, is that typically we'll go out to a place, maybe we head out from our house, wherever it is that we're doing a faster workout, go for an easy run, however long that is, and that just being very easy, very conversational. The pace itself doesn't matter. It's really just warming your body up and making a bridge between the easy and the harder part of your workout. And usually that's not going to feel the best. And if it feels really good that day, then, good for you. Something that, I mean, that's awesome. Sometimes those days happen, but when you're really, really training, that those 2 or 3 miles or however long that you're warming up can feel really bad. And that's normal, especially if it's really early in the morning and you just kind of roll out of bed like 40 minutes ago. But after that, we usually come back to, ideally, you go back to your car or wherever you have your stuff. You would change into those faster shoes, and or whatever it is that you want to wear. That is a nice mental turning point too, because then you do some drills or strides and get ready for your workout. And usually the drills there are mostly it's an extension of the warm up. So you're kind of getting your body through a range of motion, you're bridging that time, you're kind of giving yourself some space, and then you do a couple short 15-20 second bursts of speed that again help bridge between the warm up and the workout and just help get the body nice and tense and ready for the run. Do the workout and then come back from the workout, same thing, get changed, take some water, eat some food, whatever you need to do, and then head out for your cool down. And this is what I would consider the proper way to do it and like the non-rush way to do it. When I don't do these things, I feel like the workout is sloppy. Like I feel like it's really sloppy, and sloppiness is not good for training.
Well, and like, when you go in straight, like if you're rushed, so you're at a high cortisol level, your heart rate's elevated, you do the warm up, you go straight into the workout, super elevated heart rate. So like it's going to be hard to keep it in the right zone. We want to come down a little bit. So we're starting a little lower. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely ways to make it a little